Now the Honda Odyssey is one of the OG minivans, and what they've done here is just refresh it for 2025, so it's not a brand new model. In my opinion, this, compared to the competition, this is probably the one that looks the oldest when it comes to the design. It's not a bad looking car. It has a substantial rear overhang that looks a little strange when it comes to the proportions. So what we're going to do in this video is have a look at what's new for 2025 from a front, side, rear, interior, and then last but not least, we're going to take it for a drive. Before we go any further, I'd like to take a minute to thank today's sponsor, Lasfit floor mats. So they sent out these brand new models for the 2025 Honda Odyssey. Now they fit any Odyssey between 2018 and 2025 since the interior layout has stayed the same, and the install of these mats are extremely easy. All you got to do is just take out the old mats that you have, or carpets that you have in the 2025 Odyssey, and then of course just slide these new ones in. The cool thing about these floor mats are that they are custom made using 3D scanning that measures the dimensions of your specific vehicle, which of course is going to ensure a perfect fit, and these slide right in there. Super easy to do. The mats remain flexible in all weathers and don't get stiff when temperatures drop below zero. They also are very easy to rinse off, and that is one thing I love about this. I have this in my Model 3 as well. Whether it's covered in snow or slush or sand or mud, which is great if you're like me and like to hike trails, and inevitably you're gonna bring some dirt into the car. You don't want to have these carpets that we have on the standard Odyssey. Instead, you want to have these rubberized floor mats that Lasfit is providing right here. Now the floor mats are made from 100% TPE material, giving them great elasticity and durability as well. They have some sponginess to them to increase comfort when you have your feet on them, and in addition to that, you do get great friction from the TPE material even when wet. On the bottom side, they've added these groove design to create friction on the bottom as well, so the mats just won't slide around once you install them in the car. So make sure you head over to lasfit.com to order yours, and make sure you use the code BEMBLYDEAL at checkout for a special offer from Lasfit when you order your mats. Thanks to Lasfit for sponsoring this video. Now, before we jump in and talk about this design, let's have a look at what's hiding under the hood. This is also a very old powertrain dating back to 1999, I do believe. We do have a 3.5 liter naturally aspirated V6 putting out 280 horsepower and 262 pound-feet of torque, connected to a 10-speed automatic transmission, front-wheel drive. And the thing, when I got here today, it actually struggles a lot in the snow. That might, of course, have to do something to do with the tire setup that we have here, but I would want to have a version for this that is all-wheel drive. Top speed comes in at 111 miles per hour. 0 to 60 takes about 6.7 seconds. It does have VTEC still. Fuel economy comes in at 19 city, 28 highway, and the price, as this one is tested, comes out to $52,275. So with that said, let's close the hood and let's talk about this design. So starting with the front end design, we do have some new features for 2025. For example, the way you can tell that this is a 2025 is if you look down here, we have this new slot in the bumper, which I don't believe they had in the 2024 model year. Big grille in the top with the open section in the lower section, huge Honda logo in the middle. What I like about this is the color, first of all, this dark blue color, metallic color, and also the blacked out graphics that we have all around the front end. I mean, this looks like sort of, they took the front end. The reason why I think this looks old is because if you look at the front end of this, it looks almost like the previous generation Honda Civic in a minivan form, and that is something that I think they probably should have updated for 2025 and just refreshed the entire car. But good news is we do have nice fog lights down here in this blacked out housing for it, and also indicators that are not LED, unfortunately, but we do have this LED daytime run light here and LED headlights, as you can see. Lower section is also completely open with the parking sensors integrated right there. I like the styling of the hood. Very beautiful lines here. Check this out. We have this line coming from the A-pillar down here, connecting to the very corner of the grille. We also have this little fluid motion right there. They didn't have to put it there, but the designers insisted we need to have this line in the hood, and they got what they wanted right there. Now looking at the side view, we do have the Elite trim here, the top of the line, and this rolls on 19-inch wheels, but check out the rear overhang right there. It's absolutely massive. and it has the same wheelbase as the first generation Honda Odyssey, and that is maybe something they could have switched up a little bit, moved the rear axle just a couple of inches backwards. That would also probably help with the interior space. But the wheel and tire setup here looks pretty decent. We have, let's see, 235 millimeter wide tires, 19-inch wheels with this brushed aluminum surface and the black inserts. Looks pretty good to me. Wheel setup for minivans, you know, it doesn't really matter. It actually does. It does matter what type of wheels you have. Wheels, I take that back, because wheels are the most important factor for how a car sits on the ground, just the plantedness of the car. But this is not a vehicle that if I were to buy this, I would not switch out the wheels. I would just keep the stock wheels. I do like the fluid lines that we have going all over this car. You can see the shoulder line here with the chrome trim that wraps around the entire vehicle. We also have this floating roof, meaning that we have this cutout here. So the roof panel sort of floats, is not connected to the lower section of the car. And also this line at the lower section, very nice, almost Mazda-like lines with this line I'm talking about right here. And we also have sliding doors on both sides. I like how they implemented the rail for the door, sort of hide it here. You can't really see that this is supposed to be the rail. It looks very clean. This is probably something that I would want to have in black, because everything else, you can see up top here, for example, everything is just blacked out. So why not make the lower section black as well? It would just make sense. And also the side mirrors are also blacked out with the body color on top, black on the bottom. And we do have LED indicators right here on the side. The shoulder line, very typical for the Odyssey. You can see how it flows and cuts down there and then creates another shoulder line that goes straight right here into the corner of the taillight. Very, very interesting looking design. Looking at it from a side view, this is probably where it looks the most modern when we don't look at the key graphics in the front end or in the rear. Now coming around, talking about the rear end here, brand new taillights for 2025. I do think they look good. They have this crab claw design like we had again on the old, I think Accord had that very similar design to it. This still looks very, very good. I do prefer definitely the rear end design of this to the front end. One thing that I would like to change back here though, why not just put LED lights here? We have beautiful LEDs for the daytime lights here. Reverse lights probably not LED either, but I just want to have LEDs in 2025. I think for the Elite specifically, when you have the top of the line trim level, just put LEDs on there. We have chromed out badges in the back here with the Odyssey right there, and also Elite. We don't have any front wheel drive badges here or something like that. We have a nice spoiler up top as well, in addition to the shark fin antenna. We don't have a big sunroof here, just a standard sunroof up top. Now open up the trunk. It is power assisted. Would expect anything else for a Elite top of the line. And you do have 3 rows here, so you have 2 seats in the front, 2 in the back. You can fold this up and create a 3rd seat there. You can also remove all 3 seats in the middle, and when you have the rear seats here folded down, you can see just how much space we have back here. You have a lot of storage here. Used to have a vacuum for the Odyssey, but now you only have a power outlet right there, and that's pretty much it for the rear end. Cup holders, USBs for the 3rd row here, and let's see if we can fold these up. Pretty simple to do, just like that. You can do it with one hand, as you can see, which is very appreciated. Same goes for folding it back down. All you gotta do is just pull this, boom. Check that out. Very, very easy to do, and I love this design. This is good ergonomic and user-friendly design. Very nicely done by Honda. We have some protection here for whatever you load this car up with. And you can see the straps back there. You can pull those to fold the 2nd row down as well. A lot of space back here, and beautifully done by Honda when it comes to the engineering and the design of the 3rd row seat. So with that said, we talked about the exterior design. Let's jump in and have a look at what's new for 2025 in the interior. Now, another reason why I think Honda should have just redesigned the entire Odyssey for 2025 is if you look at the interior here, it doesn't have a connection to the other 2025 models from Honda, where you have this very horizontal line flow in the interior. But you do have 2 memory seat settings here, controls for the windows, like the gloss black door handle as well, and controls for the side mirrors. Some storage down low, cup holder there, cup holder down here, in addition to some more storage. 12-way adjustable power seats for the front end, looking pretty clean. I do like the two-tone here, looks nice, and they're also heated and ventilated for the Odyssey. So let's jump in here and talk about the front end of the interior. Let's turn the hazards off right there. Now, as you can see, this is also something that looks pretty dated to me. Not that I'm complaining about it, because you can see we have a analog speedometer right there. We have a small screen in the middle and a digital screen right here, which you can configure with this button right here. So press the home button, and you can see all the different information you can have here. Tire pressure, maintenance, seat belts, navigation. Let's check out navigation and see what that looks like. It just has the name, the road that you're on down there. So that is the only configurable piece for the gauge cluster, but I do like this soft touch material up here. We don't have a head-up display, something that I really don't care about at all, but I do know, I mean, people like to have head-up displays, and specifically when you have a $52,000 Elite Odyssey, you kind of want to have at least a head-up display here in the interior. And this also looks pretty dated to me, even though it's refreshed for 2025. 9-inch infotainment screen here. We can go into the home setting here, wireless Apple CarPlay, Android Auto as well. You have all these apps here. You can connect your phone. We can go into navigation and check out the native navigation system here, something that I would personally never use myself, because again, it just feels extremely dated just looking at the design of this. But if you've been in any Honda recently, you're gonna be familiar with all these settings in here. Thankfully, we have this massive control panel here with, of course, the physical buttons for the climate settings. And this is actually a design that I really like. The only thing I would like to change here is the gloss black material that I have going all around here, all around the screen as well. But just these toggles and this little screen in the middle for the temperature, fan speed, up and down, just perfectly laid out. Down here you have ventilated seats in 3 different levels. We can actually turn it on right now, and heated seats as well. Again, just funky design, unique design and styling for this. Turn off the automatic shut off its red lights. Snow mode, econ mode, and you have the buttons for the ventilated seat for the passenger here as well. Now this section here in the middle, the gear selector, this is not something I've been a fan of. It's just too much going on here. Press this button to put it into reverse. You can see that we have a rear view camera, but for the Elite model, again, you just want to have a 360 camera. And even if you get a rear view camera here, the resolution for this is not fantastic. It's very, very grainy. You can have it in different versions here, top-down view, more of a widescreen view, but you don't get a 360 camera for the 2025 Odyssey Elite, which is something I definitely think this should have. A couple of USBs down here, 12-volt house outlet, another outlet right there. Bunch of storage down here in the middle. I forgot to mention the start button looks pretty clean in this area. 2 cup holders in the middle with the Honda key. And as you can see with this key here, you can use this key to open up and slide up the doors on each side. Lock, unlock, remote start, open the trunk, and the panic button right there. Honda logo on the back side, pretty standard stuff. You have the wireless charging pad right here in the middle, and 2 very thin and fragile looking armrests. These also feel like they are a little too close to the seat. At least for me, it feels like my arm is kind of sliding off when I'm driving here. I would want to have more of a solid center portion here for the armrests, but I guess this is better than not having any armrest at all. Now underneath here, you can see that we have more storage and also an HDMI port for the Fire TV in the back. We also have a USB port right there, and that's pretty much it for the storage compartment, but it goes all the way back here, very deep storage, and I do like the texture that we have on top here, looking very clean. I also like the texture that we have right here, even though, as I said, this type of styling just doesn't flow in line with the new 2025 model years from Honda. This still has this very fluid, organic looking design like we had in the previous generations of pretty much every single other Honda model that we have out today. Looking at the steering wheel here, the steering wheel is beautiful. We have the cruise control settings on the right side in addition to the heated steering wheel right there, and the volume controls in addition to the settings for the screen right there. Press the home button again and just toggle through whatever information you want to have there. You also have the voice command right there as well. Couple of buttons to slide open the doors on the side. You have open the trunk, parking sensors, traction control on and off, and of course the parking brake located right here in the lower section. Now this comes with a 10-speed automatic, and that means that we do have paddles on a minivan. It's going to be interesting to see how they work when we take this for a drive in a minute. But this steering wheel actually looks very, very clean. I'm a huge fan of the steering wheel. Now looking up top, we don't have a full panoramic sunroof because we have the Fire TV located right here. We have a couple of look at this. We have a nice like visor mirror here, looking very, very cool. So you can see what's going on in the entire interior. Check that out. And you can also, of course, store your shades in here if you want to do that. And open up the sunroof with this button. Let's close it back down. And I think that's pretty much it for the front end. We talked about the seats already looking very clean. With that said, let's jump in to the back and check out the second row seats. And I'm pretty sure I'm gonna be able to fit back here, no problems at all. And as I said, this is sliding open like that. Looking pretty clean and solid. Jumping in here, you can see that we have, of course, plenty of leg space here. You have a pocket for the both passengers and also the headphones for the TV that we have going on up here. Now you can plug in your HDMI port and show you whatever movies, or you can have streaming services connected to this as well, which is pretty cool. You also have a camera back here for the driver to see what's going on with the kids, that they're behaving in the back seats. Multiple cup holders here, and as I said, this can also be a seat. You can fold this back up by just pulling this. Let's see if we can do it one-handed. There we go. Clean. You have a third seat right here in the middle. And as I said, you can remove all of these seats, so you have an entire space back here completely open for whatever you need to haul in this minivan. And here are the buttons to close the door. You don't have to hold it, it just closes automatically like that, and we're enclosed inside of this cozy Odyssey. You have the climate settings for the second row on the right side. You don't have that here on the left side, only on the right side. So we have 3 climate zones in this car, and as I said, plenty of space back here. No problems whatsoever fitting back here at all. So let's jump in and check out the third row. If I can fit behind there, I think most people can, being 6'1", 6'2". So first of all, let's fold down this. Let's see how we do that. And then we have this handle down here. Cannot do this with one hand, so I'm gonna have to give you a close-up of the handle for now. But let's fold this up and let's jump in back here. Alrighty, so I'm in the third row now, and honestly, it's not bad at all. I have everything I need here. Plug in the headphones right there. USB for charging my phones. You also have this visor that is fitted to this window. Very fancy stuff. Couple of cup holders for when I get thirsty, and I do have plenty of space back here. I'm not complaining at all. I actually think that's I could sit here for a very long time, no problems at all. You can see the headspace I have here as well. So all good with the interior. The interior situation, the layout that we have here, definitely one of the best engineered seats, specifically the third row seats, because you can do everything using just one hand. All right guys, let's set off. Hit the drive button right here in this very peculiar drive selector right there. And as I said, coming in here on these in the snowy conditions, this is really struggling to keep traction on any type of snow. It was parked back home, and it was sitting on snow, and I had to move back and forth, reverse drive, just to get out of this much snow on the parking lot, which is pretty crazy to think about. I mean, it should be able to handle a little bit more than that, but maybe, as I said, that it could also be because of the tires that we have. So our minivans, are they usually fun to drive? Honestly, I kind of enjoy driving minivans. I'm not sure why. I have no idea. It could be because when I was practicing back home driving for my license many years ago, I was doing it partly in a Volkswagen, I think they're called Touran or something like that, and I just loved driving. It didn't matter what type of vehicle I was driving, and I think that those old memories probably has something to do with the reason why I actually enjoy driving minivans. So stepping on it here. VTEC, kick it in right there. And we're up to 60. So 0 to 60 in 6.7 seconds, which is honestly not bad. 280 horsepower, 262 pound-feet of torque. The drivetrain is ancient, this 3.5 liter naturally aspirated V6, but I'm not complaining. It sounds great as well. Let's see if we can put it into sport here. Use the paddles. All right, so I mean, it's not a very, I wouldn't call it an engaging drive using the paddles in this Honda Odyssey, but we do have them, and it's good to have if you're going downhill, if you're going down a big mountain and want to do some engine braking. It's pretty quick. Yeah, it works. It works. It's not bad at all. Again, it's not something that I would probably ever use myself, but it's cool that you have paddles in the Odyssey. The ride quality in here, just fantastic. And I think it's lacking. It doesn't feel like a modern. For $52,000, I want to have a little bit more features. For example, even though I personally don't care about it, but it should be offered with a head-up display. I'm not sure if that is an option, but it would still be, to me, that would be a standard feature for the Elite, the top of the line, in addition to what we were talking about before. The 360 camera should also, 100%, this should have a 360 camera for this price level. And that is also something that just shows this vehicle's age, that you don't have those type of features. It's just a refresh for 2025. It's not a brand new vehicle. So let's come to a complete stop here before we get any sort of traffic around us. Down to first, and let's go in manual. Listen to that VTEC V6, and we're up to 60 there. So it's got some power. It sounds really good, as I said before. And honestly, it's not a bad vehicle to drive. Definitely something I would not mind at all driving for very, very long distances. The main reason for that is, of course, that we still have, even though this looks very almost antique by today's standards, I like the design here. The only thing I would like to change is, of course, this gear selector setup and the gloss black that we have trim going on here. But we do have Apple CarPlay, and that is the only thing basically that I care about when it comes to convenience features. The rest, the heated seats is also pretty nice to have, but it's not something that I personally need to have in my car. Same goes for the ventilated seats. Definitely don't need that. We do have a heated steering wheel here as well, with this button on the steering wheel. Just cruising along here in this Odyssey on this beautiful sunny Colorado day, and it's finally a little bit warm. We got 44 degrees today, which feels, the funny thing about temperatures in Colorado compared to when we lived in Florida is 44 degrees in Florida and you're freezing your butt off. I mean, the humidity just makes it feel like the Arctic. 44 degrees here in Colorado when the sun is out, it feels like 75 in Florida. It's very, very strange, but it's definitely not cold today. I'm thankful for that because we've had, jeez. Odyssey got a little angry there on the downshift. But we've had, I'm sure the rest of the country also had some sort of just surprisingly cold weather the last week or so. So cruising around here in 75 miles per hour. Again, just a very, very comfortable ride. There is a little bit, maybe a little too noisy. We can hear a lot of road noise. No wind noise whatsoever though, but the road noise is still pretty substantial in here. So I think if you were looking for a minivan that has, if I can remember the minivans I've reviewed, I couldn't do the third row seat with one hand, putting them up and down. And I think that is a great feature that you have in the Odyssey. So if you're looking for a minivan and you catch yourself a lot of times carrying something in one hand, but you still need to use the third row, then the Honda Odyssey might be an option for you. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.